The latest in Washington. President Trump will make his first visit to the State Department later today to formally swear in Mike Pompeo as Secretary of State. Pompeo was sworn in a private setting last week before embarking on his first foreign trip as top diplomat overseas. Joining me right now is former Secretary of State under George W. Bush and the author of the new book, Political Risk, Condoleezza Rice. Condi, it's great to see you.
Great to see you, Maria.
Thank you so much for joining us, and congratulations on another wonderful book.
Thank you. Thanks so much.
Well, today is a big day for Mike Pompeo.
Yes.
Take us back to your days, first being sworn in. What should he expect as a former Secretary of State? Your thoughts on Mike Pompeo?
Well, first of all, it's an exciting day for him, and congratulations to him, because you walk into that building and you realize all the history. And Thomas Jefferson, by the way, is your predecessor many times removed, and so it's a very exciting day. I like very much what he said about the world's greatest diplomatic corps. I think that's absolutely true. These men and women serve all over the world in the toughest of places, and they love to see the Secretary really recognize that. So I think he's off to a good start. He has a good relationship with the President. That's the other important thing for a Secretary of State, and so I wish him the very best, but he's going to learn very quickly. The Secretary of State of the United States is the 911 for the world, so if there's a problem, it's probably going to land on your desk.
Wow, and the set of challenges today are increasingly more difficult to ascertain. Let's talk about Iran first. We've got this deadline coming up on May 12th, whether or not the president will renew. It looks like he may actually not renew and pull out based on the way he's talking.
Well, he's been signaling for some time that he doesn't like this deal. And frankly, I didn't support the deal, but I think it's not good on verification and a number of other issues. I would have probably stayed in the deal just to kind of manage the allies in it who have a lot at stake. But it's not going to be the end of the world if he does pull out. I hope that people will take the signal to try to improve the deal. The Iranians have a lot to account for. As Prime Minister Netanyahu showed, they've been lying about their program for a long time. I think the depth of that lying is now obvious. And so this might be an opportunity to think again about what we really do with Iran. But it won't be the end of the world. There'll be a little bit of a shock, but it'll be all right.
So you would be fine if he pulled out?
Yeah, it's a little tricky to pull out of agreements that the country, America, has already signed. You don't want to give the impression that administration to administration, we always recalculate our commitment to our treaties. But I think in this case, it's really not a very good deal, and probably he can do better.
Yeah, well, we'll see. I mean, even Macron is saying, look, we need to either negotiate something new or, you know, and so sort of suggesting that he would be on the president's side on that. So we'll see what happens.
We'll see what happens.
Yeah.
We'll see what happens.
May 12th is the deadline. So let's talk about North Korea. You were obviously the last Secretary of State to deal with the North Koreans. You dealt with Kim Jong-il's father.
That's right.
Kim Jong-un. What was that like?
Kim Jong-il was Kim Jong-il was a different character. He was closer to the Chinese. He'd been through watching his. The Chinese always said he remembered that China saved his father in the Korean War, and so he was of a different generation. I think that we made a little bit of progress with him, but the North Korean playbook is that you get into trouble because of sanctions, things get tough, and then you go to the table and you go on a charm offensive, you make a bunch of pronouncements and make some obligations, and then you don't keep them.
Then you blow it off.
Then you blow it off.
Yeah.
Hopefully this time there's a difference, and I think the big difference here is this time the North Korean program had gotten to the place that it actually threatened the United States, or was about to threaten the United States. Now everybody realizes no American president can let that happen. To his credit, President Trump said some pretty tough things about what he was willing to do. It got China's attention in ways that I think we weren't able to do. And it's a new leader in North Korea. But I would say one thing to the president, which is remember the nature of this regime. This is a regime that killed an American citizen, murdered an American citizen just recently. Right. This is a regime that has death camps for its own people. And so never forget who you're dealing with. Prepare well. Don't jump to do things like remove American forces, because American forces are a stabilizing element for the whole region, not just for Korea. And remember the interests of other allies like Japan. Prepare, prepare, prepare. Yeah. I'm encouraged that then CIA Director, now Secretary Pompeo, was able to go to Pyongyang, and none of us knew it.
Yeah, that was incredible.
That's the way you do diplomacy of that kind. So this may turn out okay.
So it wasn't just, you know, the rhetoric, the Rocket Man, etc. There were actual issues in place, and the pressure that this president and this administration put on China, whereas China did hold back on exports to North Korea. That pressure campaign worked. I mean, to hear North Korea say, we want peace.
Yeah. It worked, and it got them to the table. I also think, by the way, that the campaign that frankly was done by former Secretary Tillerson to isolate North Korea. So you will remember that about 20 countries kicked North Korean workers out of the country, expelled them. That was hard currency for the regime. And so that put pressure on them, as well as we know that they were running out of military parts. That matters to one of Kim Jong-un's constituencies, the military. So the pressure was really set. Now the hard part is actually getting the North Koreans to deliver on denuclearization in a way that is verifiable and that sticks. When we were in office, they blew up a cooling tower. They actually dismantled their big reactor. But the negotiations eventually failed because we learned that they had a secret, highly enriched uranium program, another pathway to a nuclear weapon, and they wouldn't admit to it, and so we had to leave the talks. So there's a long road ahead here, but the table is well set, and if the administration is well prepared and takes its time, you don't have to have an end to this on the first day, I think they've got a real chance to do something important here.